Right now, thousands of computer science students are drowning in a brutal tug-of-war between grueling academics and the intense pressure to build a personal brand online. The 2026 macroeconomic reality suggests AI isn't a wholesale replacement for developers, but it is a force multiplier that is rapidly raising the hiring bar. The industry is moving away from juniors who simply memorize basic syntax, requiring instead engineers who can manage complex systems logic. Top tech firms now expect you to be an AI-native engineer. That means using AI agents to write boilerplate, while you focus on the complex systems architecture and underlying logic required to hold the project together. This high bar creates a massive anxiety spike, especially if you're caught in the prestige gap facing the majority of engineering students today. This diagram shows the structural hurdle. 75% of engineering students attend non-prestige Tier 3 institutions. But on the other side of the hiring table, 83% of corporate executives actively filter resumes based on high GPAs and top-tier university names. If you go to a lesser-known school, you start the race practically invisible. In a desperate attempt to bypass those automated resume filters, many students assume their only way out is to manufacture digital virality. They start cranking out short-form videos and technical reels, hoping a large follower count will somehow replace a target school credential. But that desperation forces a highly dangerous trade-off. You end up cannibalizing the exact time needed to build your academic foundation, all to chase digital clout just to get noticed. So, as a second-year engineering student, you're faced with a strict dilemma. Do you spend 20 hours a week editing coding videos, or do you dedicate every minute of that finite time to pure, uninterrupted academic study? The internet aggressively pushes the glamorous tech influencer lifestyle. But when you look past the highly curated reels, the economic reality of the creator industry tells a very different story. This matrix compares the creator economy to corporate software engineering. As a creator, you're essentially running an uncapitalized small business. Your revenue is heavily skewed, mostly unmonetized, and completely reliant on the opaque algorithms of third-party platforms. Compare that to a corporate engineering role, which offers highly structured, predictable compensation, clear boundaries for work-life balance, and zero risk of your paycheck disappearing overnight. But the steepest cost is here, in this new row. While software engineers face standard occupational stress, content creators report severe psychological hazards. The relentless demand to produce, combined with a toxic comparison trap, leads to intense burnout. 10% of creators even report severe suicidal ideation directly tied to their work. Trying to use viral content creation as your career safety net is a mathematically flawed strategy. It drains your cognitive bandwidth and actively jeopardizes your mental health. To navigate this, we have to treat your time strictly as an ROI analysis. You only have 168 hours in a week, and how you allocate them determines your career trajectory. Let's look at Path 1, the tech influencer. The inputs here are massive. You're pouring dozens of hours into scripting, lighting, and editing short-form videos to chase whatever trend the algorithm currently favors. The fatal trade-off of this path is the complete sacrifice of deep work. The human brain cannot multitask. When you're constantly context-switching to check analytics, you lose the intense concentration required to actually master your second-year coursework, like operating systems and data structures. Mastering these core subjects provides the technical syntax required to build and optimize the complex systems that AI coding agents cannot yet architect autonomously. So what about Path 2, the pure academic? Here, your input is a 100% focus on university coursework, grinding to ensure your GPA stays strictly above an 8.0. The obvious benefit is that you secure the deep foundational logic required to survive technical interviews and effectively deploy those advanced AI coding agents we talked about. But for a student at a Tier 3 college, this path has a critical flaw. A solid GPA without a verifiable public portfolio means you still look exactly like thousands of other graduates. You remain invisible to the automated systems that heavily favor Tier 1 university names. The result is that neither extreme works. The influencer path ensures you fail the technical interview, while the purely academic path ensures a non-elite student fails the initial resume screen. There is a mathematically optimal third option. The industry calls it building in public, or what we can define as synergistic subordination. The core philosophy here is simple. Rigorous study and complex engineering remain your absolute unyielding priority. Content creation is then strictly subordinated, used solely as a tool to document that specific technical mastery. To execute this, you transition away from basic tutorial apps. Instead, you build challenging projects that force you to interact with core concepts, like coding a custom DNS server from scratch, or building a lightweight container runtime. This methodology is validated at the highest levels of the industry. Look at how Elon Musk operated during the early development of Tesla and SpaceX. He openly shared his engineering processes, the intellectual hurdles, and the architectural triumphs, building massive credibility by being transparent about the actual work. You do the same thing using a highly efficient spin-off content strategy to prevent burnout. After spending a week writing complex code, you write a single, highly detailed technical blog post explaining the system's architecture and how you solved the hard bugs. Then, you systematically fragment that one core document into smaller, derivative pieces. A paragraph becomes a threaded discussion on X, another section becomes a LinkedIn update, and the rest forms your GitHub documentation. This approach achieves two crucial outcomes simultaneously. The act of synthesizing the material forces a deeper cognitive retention of your academic coursework. At the same time, you passively construct an elite personal brand based entirely on demonstrable technical merit. Building in public transforms your private, difficult code into an undeniable public portfolio. It delivers maximum hiring impact with minimal digital distraction. If you're going to commit to building in public, you have to be tactical about where you post. The 2026 social media ecosystem is highly fragmented, and not all platforms are worth your time. This chart evaluates the major platforms based strictly on their professional return on investment. We map hiring impact on the vertical axis against effort and time drain on the horizontal axis. Your absolute focus belongs here, in the top left quadrant, high impact and low effort. This is where LinkedIn and GitHub live. For corporate recruiters, these platforms are the non-negotiable engines of your technical credibility. Conversely, you need to avoid the bottom right quadrant, low impact and high effort. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram demand highly edited, trend-chasing visual content. Their algorithms reward fast entertainment, which directly contradicts the deep, slow-thinking nature of software engineering. Your objective is laser-targeted professional credibility, not generic mass entertainment. Spend your time exactly where hiring managers are actually looking. Executing this synergistic path is not easy. It requires a militant, almost corporate approach to managing your personal time. You have to adopt the WIN protocol, what's important now. This means constantly auditing your weekly schedule to completely eliminate passive social media scrolling, reallocating those hours into strict, uninterrupted blocks of deep work. And here is the hard rule. If your GPA is currently below an 8.0, you must pause all digital output immediately. Reclaim every single one of those hours purely for your academic survival until your grades recover. But if you successfully balance this and you discover you possess a genuine dual passion for both deep coding and public communication, there is a specialized endgame. It's a highly lucrative field called developer relations, or DevRel. The safest way to enter that field is to become an undeniable, highly compensated software engineer straight out of college first. You establish a formidable technical foundation, secure your financial safety net, and then transition laterally into an advocacy role. In an era of rapidly accelerating automated code generation, chasing fleeting digital dopamine is a trap. Your ultimate, irreplaceable competitive advantage is the profound, quiet mastery of complex computational systems.